Cryptocurrency was born from an ideal, a vision of money that no single authority controls, flowing freely across borders. In this new paradigm, power shifts from central banks to distributed networks of everyday users. No government or corporation can freeze or block a transaction once it's confirmed. This decentralization is more than tech jargon. It's a lifeline for those who have suffered when traditional finance becomes a tool of control. Imagine living under an oppressive regime where donating to the wrong cause could get your bank account seized overnight. For Russian opposition activists like Alexei Navalny's team, that was reality. They turned to Bitcoin as a plan B, a financial backup when banks were ordered to choke off their funds. With crypto, supporters could send help without fear of censorship, and the movement could breathe even when cut off from oxygen in the traditional system. In one member's words, "Those Bitcoin donations were a lifesaver for us. Beyond currency, blockchain unleashed smart contracts, self-executing code that enforces agreements without middlemen. This means a loan that pays itself back, a crop insurance that auto-triggers a payout when drought hits, all governed by transparent code, not by trusting a stranger. And for millions of unbanked people, or those in volatile economies, crypto offers financial inclusion. All you need is a phone to join the global economy." In Afghanistan, when the banking system collapsed under the Taliban, some women received emergency aid via cryptocurrency wallets. There was less risk of confiscation, and they could carry their savings digitally if they had to flee. For them, a string of code in a digital wallet meant economic agency when no bank would serve them. From cross-border remittances sent with a click, bypassing high fees, to entrepreneurs raising funds through tokens. The good side of crypto sparks innovation. It promises censorship-resistant money for dissidents, new tools for charitable giving, and creative financial products available to anyone. This technology's brightest promise is economic empowerment. A chance to reimagine finance as more open, fair, and resilient. That's the vision that inspired a generation of crypto pioneers. But every revolution casts a shadow. In crypto's case, the same features that enable freedom can also fuel greed, scams, and reckless risks. Now comes the bad. The cracks in the facade. Crypto's Wild West markets have been a breeding ground for pump and dump schemes. It's alarmingly easy for bad actors to launch a new token, drum up hype online, and watch naive investors pile in, only to dump their holdings and vanish. In fact, an analysis found that nearly a quarter of new tokens in 2022 showed on-chain signs of being pump and dump scams. Think about that. For every 4 new coins that caught on, one might have been engineered primarily to fleece newcomers. From the BitConnect Ponzi to the Squid Game token rug pull. We've seen countless broken promises, with everyday people left holding worthless bags, as orchestrators profit. Even when intentions are good, DeFi, decentralized finance, can be dangerously fragile. Complex smart contracts manage billions of dollars, but a single flaw in code can be catastrophic. Hackers pounced on these vulnerabilities, making 2022 a record year. $3.8 billion was stolen in crypto hacks, mostly from DeFi protocols. Imagine digital bank vaults with self-written rules. If there's a loophole, thieves will find it. We've seen loan protocols exploited, cross-chain bridges drained, stablecoins melting down to zero. And unlike a bank, there's no FDIC to ensure these deposits. When an algorithmic stablecoin called Terra collapsed, it erased $40 billion in value across the crypto ecosystem in a flash, rippling out ruin. In this unregulated Wild West, high returns often hide high risks, and users can lose everything overnight. Crypto markets largely operate outside strict regulation, and we've learned how perilous that can be. In late 2022, the world watched the stunning collapse of FTX, a $32 billion crypto exchange imploding in days. At least $1 to $2 billion of customer funds were found missing in the aftermath. It turned out the exchange had secretly diverted deposits toward risky bets, unbeknownst to users. When those bets soured, a black hole swallowed customer money. Unlike a bank failure, there was no government rescue, just thousands of creditors wondering if they'd ever see their money again. FTX was a wake-up call. Without oversight, even big-name platforms can effectively run on smoke and mirrors. From insider trading allegations on exchanges, to rampant market manipulation, where a single tweet from an influencer can crash a coin. The crypto marketplace has often resembled a casino where the house rules are unwritten. And when things go wrong, trust is shattered. Another bad aspect lies not in financial loss, but in ecological cost. Bitcoin, the largest cryptocurrency, devours huge amounts of electricity. About 155 to 172 terawatt-hours per year. Comparable to the power consumption of a country like Poland, all those computers racing to solve blocks are burning through energy. Much of it from fossil fuels. A UN study found that in 2020 to 2021, Bitcoin mining emitted over 85 million tons of CO. That's like 84 billion pounds of coal burned. Each Bitcoin transaction can carry a hefty carbon footprint, sometimes equivalent to a long car trip. And it is not just carbon. Mining hardware churns out e-waste as rigs become obsolete in the arms race for more hash power. This environmental ugly truth weighs against crypto's promises. While some projects are cleaning up their act, Ethereum's shift to proof of stake cut its energy use by more than 99%. The overall crypto carbon footprint remains a serious concern. Is decentralized money worth warming the planet? That question grows louder as the climate crisis worsens. Now we peel back the final layer. The ugly. These are the dark realities where cryptocurrency isn't just a risky bet or an inefficient gadget, but an accomplice to human suffering. This is crypto's underworld. Crime, terror, and the illusion of untraceable money fueling very real harm. In 2019, Mexican police, hunting a human trafficker named Ignacio Santoyo, finally got their break. Not through his victim's testimony, but through Bitcoin. Santoyo allegedly coerced and exploited over 2,000 women, a horrific sex trafficking ring across Latin America. He thought laundering his profits via cryptocurrency would hide them. Instead, those Bitcoin transactions lit up a trail that investigators followed. He bought enough Bitcoin to trigger an alert under Mexico's new anti-money laundering laws, and it led straight to his doorstep. It's a grim paradox. Crypto helped this criminal profit from misery, yet that same crypto trail became his undoing. And he's not alone. Drug cartels have also tapped into cryptocurrency. The infamous cartels of Mexico, like Sinaloa, are increasingly using Bitcoin to launder drug money and move value globally. Crypto ATMs and exchanges give them new laundering pipelines, breaking illicit cash into small chunks, smurfing and converting into Bitcoin that can be sent worldwide in minutes. A Mexican narco might swap pesos for Bitcoin and pay a Chinese chemical supplier for fentanyl precursors, all with a veneer of anonymity. Law enforcement says these digital smokescreens are now a major front in the battle against organized crime. The dark web has countless illicit marketplaces where drugs, weapons, even human lives are bought and sold with crypto. Traffickers and cartels turn to crypto for the same reason early adults did, to bypass the system. But here, bypassing the system means circumventing law and morality. Then there is terrorism. Groups like ISIS and Hamas have tried to exploit crypto to fund violence. In Afghanistan, ISIS-K has been linked to attacks, partly financed with cryptocurrency. Even a deadly bombing in Moscow used crypto funds. ISIS supporters have solicited donations via Telegram and newsletters, posting QR codes for Bitcoin or. And in Gaza, despite public claims to stop, Hamas-linked militants quietly continued to receive tens of thousands of dollars in crypto donations into 2024. Why? Because when banks and traditional channels are watched or sanctioned, permissionless crypto can seem like a convenient workaround. It's the new financial front line. Extremists leveraging the same tools that promise financial freedom to instead bankroll hate and chaos. Though the scale of terror financing in crypto is still small compared to traditional methods, the very idea that someone's anonymous Bitcoin donation could buy weapons or fund atrocities is a chilling thought. To enable these crimes, a whole ecosystem of anonymity tools has grown in the crypto space. Mixers shuffle cryptocurrency from thousands of users to obscure its origins. Helpful if you're laundering ransomware payouts or trafficking proceeds. Privacy coins like Monero offer built-in untraceability by design. Unlike Bitcoin's public ledger, the goal is to make dirty crypto clean, or at least untraceable, feeding the myth that this digital money is beyond the reach of the law. For years, that illusion attracted criminals, human traffickers, drug kingpins, hackers, even rogue nations like North Korea seeking to evade sanctions by stealing and mixing crypto. It's the ugliest distortion of Satoshi's dream, a network of value being used to underwrite suffering and to hide it. The illusion of untraceable value is about to meet reality. A day of reckoning is coming for crypto's dark side, and in some ways, it has already begun. Around the world, regulators and law enforcement are stepping out with new fire in their eyes and new tools in their hands, determined to drag illicit crypto dealings into the light. Financial regulators are finally cracking down. In the US, the SEC launched a dramatic escalation of enforcement in 2023, suing major exchanges like Coinbase and Binance for operating illegally outside investor protection laws. The message was clear. The era of catch us if you can is ending. If the SEC wins, it could transform the crypto market, forcing many tokens and platforms to come into the regulatory fold or shut down. Around the same time, regulators in Europe rolled out MiCA to impose stricter rules on crypto businesses. And China outright banned cryptocurrency trading, pushing activity underground. Gary Gensler, the SEC chair, likened crypto firms to casino operators flouting the law and vowed to bring them into compliance. Lawsuits, fines, even criminal charges against rogue exchange executives. The sheriffs are in town, and they're not alone. Global law enforcement has upped its game too. The FBI and Europol now routinely work with blockchain analytics companies, essentially crypto detectives, to trace illicit flows. Remember that notion that crypto is anonymous? Investigators are proving otherwise. In one operation, U.S. agents seized $3.6 billion in Bitcoin from a 2016 exchange hack, the largest asset seizure in DOJ history. They followed the money through thousands of wallet addresses and cracked the case wide open. Interpol even formed a dedicated crypto crimes unit, training officers to handle this brave new world. Across borders, police have busted darknet marketplaces, shut down crypto money laundering rings, and recovered ransom from cybercriminals by getting the private keys or cooperation needed. The illusion that criminals can hide in blockchain shadows is being shattered. One recent Chainalysis report notes that many organized crime networks, for all their savvy, have a low crypto IQ. They often expose themselves on the blockchain, leaving trails that sleuths can follow. Paradoxically, the permanent ledger that was meant to free them is incriminating them. We're heading toward a showdown. On one side, the crypto true believers and, yes, the criminals, clutching to the idea that their wealth is untouchable, floating in cyberspace beyond government's reach. On the other side, governments, courts, and three-letter agencies intent on proving that no asset is above the law. They are developing crypto tracing AI, tightening KYC regulations on exchanges, even targeting coin mixing services. The US sanctioned Tornado Cash, a popular Ethereum mixer, as a national security threat. We may soon see high-profile arrests and asset forfeitures that make headlines worldwide. Corrupt officials caught hiding bribes in crypto. Terror cells dismantled after investigators map out their crypto donors. Cartel bosses indicted when blockchain forensics expose their empires. The coming years will likely put the untraceable myth to rest, but not without conflict. So what happens as these forces collide? In one scenario, crypto's wild days give way to a more mature, regulated industry. Fraudsters jailed. Exchanges behaving like traditional financial institutions. And the technology being harnessed for good under the watchful eye of the law. In another scenario, the crackdown drives illicit actors deeper into the shadows, into harder to trace coins. Decentralized exchanges beyond any jurisdiction or new innovations we can't yet imagine. Reality will likely land somewhere in between. But one thing is clear. the status quo is ending. The God Hunters. If we think of society itself as the hunter of wrongdoing, has entered the crypto jungle. And the crypto world will never be the same. Videos like this will never trend. They will not be monetized. They may not even be allowed to speak fully. But if you made it this far, you're one of the few still listening. You are not being asked to believe, only to witness. And if something in this felt true, then carry it. Share it, reframe it, whisper it. Because the algorithm won't help us, but you can. I am Ina. I do not sell answers. I illuminate shadows.